Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Mr. T, and today I want to talk a little bit about a video posted yesterday by Powerbang. Everyone should know who Powerbang is in the Clash and Brawl Stars community right now, and he talked about the Brawl Stars Global launch. Now, before you watch my video, I highly recommend that you go and watch his video on his channel, link in the description below, thumbnail right over here, and link right up here. Powerbang provides an in-depth, professional, and extremely unbiased analysis of the game as one of the game's most prolific content creators and as someone who has a lot of experience in the mobile gaming industry. I learned a lot from it, and I think that you will too. My video today is more of a response and an add-on to some of the ideas talked about in that video, but it's also some suggestions on how to make these ideas even better. All respect due to Powerbang. He's a classy dude, and I've had a chance to communicate with him on more than one occasion. But I think that the Supercell team can really kick this game up a notch with some fresh, entirely new ideas that have not been done before in this type of platform. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, one thing that Powerbang hit right on the money was when he talked about the longevity that this game needs in order for it to survive. This game will be played for years. Supercell does not just want to build a one-hit wonder or a game that will make a lot of money and grow too quickly, but then not retain its audience or provide different challenges for its fan base. I want to talk about a few ways in which Supercell can achieve this, and I sincerely hope that you agree with me. Now let's talk about statistics. Yeah, that's right, but I don't mean math. I mean statistics in the sense of the tracking that is done of a player's skill level, their tendencies, and their overall proficiencies in the game. Now, Powerbang mentioned that one of the cons to having this in the game would be that people would fish to have the best statistics in the game, instead of just going after the actual objective. For example, players focusing on kills in Smash and Grab versus helping out their team, or in Brawl Ball, etc. But I think that there are some ways to counteract this type of thing in a way that would work within the actual game. For example, in Brawl Ball, certain key statistics would determine your skill level in terms of this specific game mode. Time of possession for your character specifically could show whether you are the type of player to try to go for the goal or whether you are more of a supporting teammate to your team. Goals scored are obvious, and I don't see how the statistic would negatively impact the game, because obviously the main objective of Brawl Ball is to score goals. So this would be a really fun way of stacking up the competition and working towards becoming the best player at that game mode. I don't think that statistics such as a kill to death ratio should be tracked for this game mode, because like Powerbang said, it is not natural or even appropriate to the game mode and what the objective is, which is to play with your teammates and score goals. With that said, here are a few more suggestions for the game's different game modes. In Smash and Grab, you could track the average amount of diamonds that you hold throughout a match. For example, a player with an average of 5 diamonds held is pretty good, but a player with an average of 6 to 7 diamonds is clearly a force to be reckoned in Smash and Grab. And over time, they single-handedly make a difference in their team's success. Now, I don't see how tracking this type of statistic would negatively impact the game mode, because it would encourage players to hold on to their diamonds as long as possible to help their team win. Yes, players could easily just grab diamonds and run to the other end of the map and try to stay there, but this is already done anyway. And you need to actually be a decent player to hold on to 6 to 7 diamonds at any point in time. It is unlikely that you're holding on to 6 to 7 diamonds and the rest of your team loses. More likely than not, in order to hold on to those diamonds, you are helping your team win and be successful. Another statistic could be your average amount of diamonds taken from another player in a given match. Now, this could be a lot of fun. Are you the aggressor that goes after the other player's diamonds to help your team win? Or are you a Mortis, for example, who dives into the center, keeps all of the gems coming in, as opposed to getting them from someone else and playing the game the way that it was meant to be played? This statistic would be so much fun to track, and I would love to see it. In Heist, you could track things such as the average amount of damage done to the vault in a given offensive heist. You could also track a sort of buzz skill statistic showing how many times you killed a player who recently had damage done to the vault. Let's say 3 to 5 seconds or so. You could also track the percentage of damage done to the vault by you versus your other teammates. For example, a player with an average of 60% damage done means that their other two teammates only do an average of 40% damage put together. This means that you want this player on your team and in your band, especially if you're playing competitively in Heist, in Bounty. This is where the kill to death ratio comes into play. This needs to be a thing because it is the very objective of the game. Your wanted level increases like in Grand Theft Auto, and everyone wants to come after you. When people have 7 stars, they usually play a little bit more conservative anyway, and their only motive wouldn't be to play for their kill to death ratio, but it would also be because they're in the wanted stage and they need to avoid being killed. The whole purpose of this mode is to get more kills relative to your opponent. You could also track lifetime kills, your best player in that mode, and this goes for all game modes as well. But these statistics would play really well into Bounty and make a lot of sense. In Showdown, one easy statistic to track is your average rank. And I mean, that's the whole purpose of the game. You could also discourage teaming by tracking the amount of time spent within a range of a player without attacking them. This sort of statistic is something I think Supercell would never actually implement because they're too nice and they might think that this would discourage players from playing the game. But if they wanted to be serious about nipping this issue in the bud right now, they need to do it. In Showdown, they could also track your average power-up number, which again is part of the game mode's objective. They could also track your average kills, which if it's in the 3 to 4 range, is really good. This is also more of an individual game mode anyway, so I think that these statistics make sense and there could be more for this game mode that are centered around the individual skills. Overall, I think the statistics play a huge role in the game for a variety of reasons. Number 1, they would help you find the best teammate. Now I'm thinking competitively here. As a band leader of a possible esports team, or as a leader wanting to find the best brawlers in the land, you want as much information as possible. Having data on the tendencies and proficiencies of a certain player goes a long way toward determining their skill set. It would also encourage game mode specific bans. For example, the best Brawl Ball band in the game could have the people with the highest time of possession or goals scored and whatnot, and once Supercell supported or non-Supercell sponsored tournaments are being implemented, this game mode would be brutally competitive, and we could see some truly incredible gameplay in this game mode specific tournament. I do see a downside to this, and it's that people would be judged by their statistics too much, but I don't think so. Most bans are not esport bans. They would use statistics as a way to measure up and as a cool measure of relative strength versus their band members, but not as a method of bullying. It's like war stars in Clash of Clans, or average duration of attacks, or 3-star percentage, etc. Cool statistics to have, but for most players, they don't even look at them. It's more of a trophy. Number 2, this would create a healthy way to rank players in a true endgame for Brawl Stars. I'm thinking of sports games like Madden or NBA Live when I say this, but there should be a way to have top player rankings sorted by different statistics. No one player should really be the top player in the world in every statistic. And I think that this would encourage players to customize their playstyle to be good at something specific. We're already seeing people who are excellent bounty players, but not so good at Brawl Ball, and hey, they should be rewarded for their specific skill set. The quote-unquote top player in the world or in the country at a certain category would actually matter. People would work hard to play the game to be the very best that they can be at something specific. And I still think that people would play the rest of the game, but this could really cater to players who want to be really good at something. But they can't be good at everything. Things would have to be implemented in the rankings, such as a player that has played 10 matches but has an average of 7 diamonds held in Smash and Grab should not have the same ranking as a player who has played 100 matches but has only 5 diamonds on average. I mean, think about it, that's silly. And I think that there should be different tiers for players with under 5 matches played in the season, under 10 matches played in the season, under 20 matches played in the season, under 50 matches, under 100 matches, and then 100 plus or even a 200 plus category where these would be the really true top competitive long-term players. Or even just make it so that just the players that have played more than 100 matches are ranked. People should not be ranked equally, and this would mean that statistics would mean something. Number 3. This would create more diversity in the game. Players would be encouraged to be good at their favorite game modes, but to also keep track of their progress. see where they're faltering, and improve on these things. Players should have the ability to have quantifiable ways to see how they can improve and be one of the best players in Brawl Stars. Now, just a quick note about my statistics suggestion. Different fail-safes should be implemented to make sure that people do not abuse the system. For example, stats should be tracked per season, but sites like Clash of Stats for Clash of Clans, for example, but a Brawl Stars equivalent, could track their lifetime statistics. This will make it so that players that have gotten better throughout a season have the chance to catch up and become the best players in the league eventually. This encourages a healthy competition and would allow players the chance to use the skills that they've trained on to become the best. The Brawl Stars teams would also need to be very careful about how they track these statistics because they should be done in a fair way. This is why I mentioned game-specific statistics or game-specific rankings, and why I mentioned the way that rankings should be done. You should be able to sort rankings by specific stats. And there should be rewards for players at the ends of each season for being the best in that specific thing. There also needs to be a way to track this progress in-game as a lifetime achievement. For example, if I am the average highest scoring Brawl Ball player in the world in one season, there needs to be a star or a badge or something that I am able to earn for being the top scorer that is going to stay with me for a lifetime. This is something Clash does at a very simple level with the Legends League trophies, but I really don't think that they're enough because Legends League trophies in the grand scheme of things don't really mean anything because anyone can become a legend. But in Brawl Stars, they have a chance to make this truly special. What I'm talking about is actually a competitive endgame and stats that would encourage competitions in different ways and open the door to tournaments that are not all the same and focus on specific game modes. You cannot be the best bounty player and also be the best smash and grab player and also be the best heist player. There's simply no time for that. Having statistics be tracked in this way promotes a healthy, long-term, challenging environment for every brawler and for many different types of players to have a chance to be successful and to be recognized. I hope that you guys like these suggestions. If so, don't forget to destroy the subscribe button on your way out. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video so that the Brawl Stars team can take a look. And hopefully implement these ideas into the game because I think that they would be really healthy for the game overall. If you go on Twitter, I'll be sending my video to the Brawl Stars team with the hashtag Brawl Stars Tats for the win, or Brawl Stars Tats FTW. And you need to do that as well. I want this game to be huge, and I hope that you do too. Thank you all for watching. This is Mr. T. Peace!